different phones.
Two different phones.
So we're going live from.
We have extra.
So from Tuesday 7, and is this going live?
This is on my Facebook. So
Okay.
these are for the followers that are interested in what's going on just in general and seeing the interview. I'm sure my mom's on there. She was going to come tonight, but she
Really?
actually ended up getting sick. Yeah. So she was going to come and just kind of be here because like I was going to bring, you know, just somebody who's been a really, really big part of my journey. And my mother and my sister have been the biggest parts of my journey.
Well, a big call out to your sister and to your mom too, because those who kind of pave the way and support us along the way, like my wife, and I don't want to say support because she's doing her own thing, but she's really supported by sitting behind the camera.
Sure
So
is.
thank you all for joining us today. It is we are on a Facebook community group. We're called Tuesday at 7 because we get together most weeks, usually at Tuesday at 7, but we're not about rules. We're about breaking rules.
Yeah. We're about doing our own thing.
Tuesday,
That's what we're here for.
7:27 and as a matter of fact, if you joined us last week, we didn't even meet on Tuesday. We met at Friday at 7, and we discussed the 21 Days of Horror with Ron George. We also did a peek at Negative Space at the shoe show. And I know what folks are thinking. They're like, where's the giveaway? Where's the giveaway? Well, that giveaway is going to be next week. There's going to be several giveaways. You're going to get the 21 Days of Horror giveaway. So if you shared that video, that giveaway is going to happen next Tuesday. And then if you shared at all the promo on the shoe show and your name is drawn, we're going to come out and we're going to ask you for your most worn pair of shoes. And next year, those shoes will be memorialized in an art piece.
Wow.
But we're not talking about the shoe show.
No, that's dope.
That's
That's
kind
dope.
of- that's kind of-
Especially
yeah.
like, yeah. And an art piece and everything. And then like that was cool. That was really cool.
But we're not here to talk about the shoe show or 21 Days of Horror. We're here to talk with Taylor Bash. And what I want to do is do a call out to Trisco Bakery
100%.
and Elan for connecting us.
Yes, he is wonderful. A wonderful business owner to know in general. He's wonderful. He's one of the ones that when you are talking to him, you know that he's just super genuine and he wants to help everybody he can. And like, I feel like that's what we're all here for. As business owners, as independent contractors, as people who just want to step out and do their own thing, networking is what's going to get you there. So when you meet people like Trisco Bakery, like, he's wonderful. And I'm very, very thankful for him for getting me where I am too.
When the
He's part of it.
when the tide rises, all ships, rise with it. And so, that's certainly the spirit. And so for Trisco Bakery, like, how did the two of you connect? What were you doing?
What's so funny is I actually thought that he was a girl at first because I had somebody reach out to me. It was Trisco Bakery,
Yeah.
and we were talking about, hey, we'd love to collaborate. Let's meet up at Cool Beans because usually Cool Beans is where you go to just meet anybody and talk about business.
If you're from Medina-ish.
Yeah, if you're from Medina. And he did say he lived in Medina, so I was like, okay, we can meet at Cool Beans. This is really cool. We can talk about how we can do this and where we could go. And when I got there, I was looking for a woman, and I was like, okay. And then he was wearing the Trisco Bakery, and then I saw the logo, and I was like, yeah, cool. So we did end up talking that day, and he actually knew quite a few people I know, and then I knew quite a few people he knows, because we're just a part of this whole Facebook community. Like, I feel like in Medina, everybody knows everybody. So, like, when he was like, yeah, I feel like we had, like, so many mutual friends, and I hadn't met you, but I heard about you from this, and I was like, well, I hadn't met you, but I heard about you from this. And he had actually brought me some of his baked goods, and I finished that box. It did not even matter. It was wonderful. And we were talking the other day about setting up, a time where we can practice for the classes that we want to provide, like, in a few months. It's a work in progress, but he ended up making, 9 loaves of sourdough bread for me to be able to practice cutting, for me to be able to practice flour, for me to be able to practice painting. Like, when I say he is wonderful, I mean, like, he is just so thoughtful. So that, big shout out to him.
Thank you for connecting us together too.
Yes.
And you are absolutely right, because we have a lot of folks that are part of our community that are out in that Medina County, Medina area, and it's a really it's a well-networked community,
Yes.
but a lot of talent, like a lot of talent out there.
And I think it's because, I genuinely believe, so I moved to Medina when I was 18, and then I ended up on all of the group pages, because I was in real estate at first. So when you're in real estate, you focus on networking and connecting and being a part of the groups that you need to be a part of.
Yeah.
And when I was on Medina groups, that like Medina is just such a tight-knit community that when somebody needs something, somebody's there. Somebody has something for it. And I never really, I wouldn't say I didn't have it because I was younger growing up, but when I was 18 and moved to Medina, like it was just everybody knew everybody. Everybody was super sweet. Everybody I've met in Medina has been wonderful. Like I would genuinely love, like I love calling Medina my home, and I love the people in Medina. And like when like I know somebody who I've only really seen her maybe like 4 times, 5 times in person, but I met her on the Medina groups and I talk to her consistently. Like she is just wonderful, and she does so much for the Medina community, and it's just. And then when you get a part of that, then you get a part of all the nonprofits that Medina has to offer and all of the art that Medina has to offer. Like it's just a whole lot of everything, just right there.
Yeah, it is.
It's pretty awesome.
Well, what we're going to do is we're going to press the gas, and we're going to have some fun discussing what you've done, your journey.
Okay.
But before we start officially, what we want to do is encourage you to share. At the very bottom left-hand side of your screen, there's an arrow. When you hit that share button, it allows you to share. And as a matter of fact, when you hit that share button, Facebook will prompt you as to what to do next. You can share it to your friends. If you belong to a group, you can share it to a group, or you could share it to individuals, because you might think to yourself, oh, this would be perfect for my friend, this person, or there's somebody who, maybe needs some motivation or wants to cross the starting line of an art career, and this would be perfect for them. So it'll prompt you for that. But when you share it, we know. And then next Tuesday, when we draw winners, we're also going to draw a winner for a piece of your artwork, and we might, just depending upon how many folks join live, give one out here live as well for people who comment, and maybe that's what we do. Is for those who engage with our live.
That'd be great.
That we or maybe we go to yours and hand one out live to yours, and we give the other one live on.
I can definitely.
Tuesday
That
session.
would be
Oh,
great.
okay.
I would love that.
So please interact. Share away on both, and do we want to show them? Let's hold them.
Okay. We'll let them sweat a little bit so they can see what they're actually interacting for. What you guys are doing all of this for at the end. But it is a Valentine's Day painting, so if you have a partner that really likes teddy bears and hearts, you got it. This one's the one for you. Okay.
I'm gonna start shooting, and it's not gonna be chronological. It's gonna be kind of free form discussions, and then for those who are joining live, feel free to shoot out a comment, a question.
Mm-hmm.
My gorgeous wife Beth is behind the camera, and she is keeping an eye on things too, so she can read those questions live as well. And then we're gonna be talking about some resources, and for those folks that kind of put those websites, those resources out there too, thank you for that. And again, we encourage your shares. But folks who are watching, right, they already know that you're positive, that you're energetic, that you got this going on. And one of the things that I enjoy about kind of moving through your content is it might be more recent, but I can scroll like way back, your Motivational Mondays. Yeah. Tell us about that, because I get the feeling that motivating, positivity, kind of shining light into the people that you meet is an important thing.
Yes, so I would like to consider myself an influencer. I have always considered myself an influencer. I have always been creating content that help other people. So my job on this earth before I leave, like just not even remotely even discussing art, my job on this earth is to make sure that any person that I have an impact on, I impact them in the best way that I possibly could. So anytime that somebody watches my videos, or anytime that my videos ended up helping somebody, and I even have a daily encouragement message that I have 180 people on it right now, but I used to have 567 until I had to change CRM systems. So it was like a whole thing. But it's literally just a message that when I wake up in the morning, I want to say something positive. And we all are in this state of consistent anxiety. Like that's what I genuinely just feel. It's just like the collective is it's consistently anxious, or you guys feel like you're not doing good enough. We all feel like we're not doing good enough. We let the bad days win sometimes. So when we have a burst of positive energy and we have that light and we have people who are here to tell you that you are doing great, because sometimes we're not our own cheerleaders. So if you need a cheerleader, I'm a cheerleader. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, I have been wanting to, I have been consistently doing Motivational Mondays, and I actually have been seeing results, because I've had people say, oh my God, I actually look forward to your Motivational Monday. This is great. And I do want to start creating more content around that, because I personally think that I want to leave the world a better place than when I came in. And the way to do that is to put myself out there, because I'm putting myself out there to help everybody I possibly can at any point that I possibly can.
Yeah. Well, thank you for putting yourself out there here as well. And we certainly get that, right? And I think that positivity and cheerleading, right? But that's infectious, right? You're like, I'm going to put it out there. And I would venture to say that when you look at it, you're like, man, I had 100 views, right? I'm like, could you imagine cramming 100 people in a room listening to you? Like, that is impactful.
That is so crazy.
Cram 100 people in a room and you're speaking to them, and that's like, I mean, those are sold out venues. And so, like, if you can affect 100 people a week, and if you know, our audience can kind of pass on, and you affect 100, and each person affects 100, you're like, we just
the ripple effect.
affected 100,000 people.
Exactly.
You know?
It's the ripple effect. It's literally just, it takes one person that you make their day, and they'll make somebody else's day.
Yeah.
And like, it's just a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. And I like that you said that, because when I had the text chain of 567 people, I literally looked up a picture of 567 people in the same room, and I was like, holy crap, this is what I'm seeing this is who I'm in contact with every day. Like, it's just kind of insane, and you don't realize until you realize. So I was talking to somebody, one of my friends, my dearest friend Katie, I love her with all my heart. We were talking about how she actually goes to school in Dayton, and she was talking to a few of her roommates, and she was talking about, I don't know, maybe it was a video of mine, I don't know, but she was like, her roommates were like, oh my God, I actually know her, like, I've seen her videos. And she's like, what? You know her? So it's kind of cool to think that even when I'm sleeping at night, the videos that I have made a year ago, 2 years ago, people, they're still finding exactly who they need to find. That's the way I like to put it, is my videos are finding whoever they need to find, whoever needs to hear it in that moment, whatever, whoever, wherever. That's what I just love that. I love the positivity, and I love being able to be a person that radiates light, because once you radiate light, the others radiate light.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, I think the process, the discipline of doing it on a regular basis, whether it's artwork, or if you're a poet of writing, or if you are out there to say, I want to push some light, some positivity out into the world, to do that on a regular basis, it's kind of like, it's building the muscles, right? It's like, I'm just keep doing it. I got to do the reps.
Yes.
And what I would say is, you know, like the Tuesday 7 community, we've been gathering for 7.5 years. And I'm like, how does that happen?
Because you were consistent with it.
How does that happen? But what is the most amazing thing is you meet a community in Medina, right? And you're like, Alan, and I got Doc, and we've got Deb, and we've got Kelly, and we've got, you know, Taylor, and we've got, like, it's a network. Mm-hmm. And then there's networks out on the east side, and then there's the Willoughby folks, and there's Cleveland, and it is, you know, we're all interconnected, right?
Yes,
and you
exactly
discover that
by
just doing it. Right.
That's exactly what it is. It's knowing this person who knows everybody, and then this person who knows this person, and then you just find that every single group that you're a part of, somebody somewhere knows. You know, it's just beautiful. It's a beautiful thing.
I said that we weren't going to be chronological, and so we're going to bounce around here. And when one takes a look at at least your Facebook profile, and I would imagine you're probably out on other.
I am. So Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. I have my own website, taylorbash.com, where everybody could, you know, if you don't have any socials, you could just go on there. But Facebook is my main platform. That is my main platform. That's where I've built most of my following, most of my content.
What is it about Facebook?
I actually don't. I don't even know. It's just Instagram never really clicked with me. TikTok, I just feel is a little unreliable sometimes because they just shut it all down. Like you can just, you know what I mean. But Facebook, I just started growing my business on Facebook because I had already had so many people on there. So it's like I didn't want to start from the bottom. I just kind of built it. And then you have like ads, you can boost your stuff, and then if you know the algorithm, then you're on top of it. Yeah, like you're on top of it. So just knowing Facebook and how Facebook works, and then being able to schedule posts, and like Instagram is cool. I like Instagram, but it's not the same because I have to post a picture every single time. Like I like being able to just post a today's encouragement. You know what I mean? So Facebook makes that easily accessible for me.
Yeah. And one of the things that we appreciate more than anything else are the shares, right? Because what we've realized is that for everybody who pushes that share button and shares it, equates to about 100 more views. So I mean, think about 100 people crammed in a room. Every single time somebody presses the share button, 100 more people hear your story. And so if we've got 10 people sharing, it goes to 1,000. If we get 20, it goes to 2,000. And and so the shares spreads the word. So we appreciate
it a lot.
Appreciate, and it's a little action, but it's greatly appreciated. I know from the Tuesday 7 crowd as well as from Taylor as well. It says artist, I think art educator or art instructor, right? And then I threw in as the in here as well as like a community builder, because I think that when I take a look at what you're doing, that stands out as much as the others. But take us to the artist. So you're an artist, right? And so self-taught, you had people of influence in your life who kind of pointed the way. You find yourself, guessing, part-time, full-time in this space?
I am an independent contractor. I work for myself and my art business. How I ended up getting into art is crazy because I have been, since I was younger, I have always loved drawing. I've always loved art in general. I actually wasn't much of a painter because painting wasn't my strong suit. And I ended up going to real estate school, and then I was a real estate agent for a year, and I liked it. I liked the people I met. It was cool. I learned how to run my own business. But when I ended up selling a house, and I got, it was a nice check.
Yeah.
But I realized I didn't like what I did to get there. Like I was doing all of this for money, and like I didn't even like what I was doing. Like why would I do that? Why would I do this again? So I took the following that I built from real estate, and I kind of went off social media for a little bit, and then I realized like, okay, well, I want to help people, I want to motivate people, but the way that I do this is my art. Like I had somebody ask me if I could teach a painting class, like a sip and paint class, which by the way, I still work with this business. They're wonderful. I'm very, very thankful for them. And that was a huge step out of my comfort zone. Like I was like, I don't know, like this is crazy. So I ended up first doing a sip and paint, and then I went from there, and I obviously did like mock tests and trials, but I realized that I know a lot about this one thing in my area, like this one area in my life, because I've been doing it forever, all the time. So when I actually stepped up and realized, okay, I'm going to take this fully seriously, I ended up quitting my serving job last December, so December 2023, to be a full-time independent contractor with my business, Taste Creative Items, but I usually just go under my name, Taylor Bash, because everybody just knows Taylor Bash. And then when I posted myself out there, I got my first student, and then everything just came from there. Like I found the Lodi Family Center, Access the Arts found me, and it's just like every opportunity came to me because I was living in my truth, because I was living what I was supposed to be doing, where I was supposed to be going. And my favorite thing, I'm an artist, art instructor, anything, like if you're going to categorize everything that I do, it would just be under artist, but I usually teach classes. That's my main. So if I'm going, it's like art and teaching, but teaching usually takes precedent because I'm teaching. It's crazy. Two different jobs. But I love my students. That is literally like, I love art and I love painting and I love everything that I have ever creatively made for any of my clients, and I will continue to do so. I love murals, I love all of it. But my students are where I thrive. Like, that is my favorite. So I teach every age. I teach adult sip and paint classes with local businesses. And then I teach, senior citizen classes. And then I teach kids classes. And kids classes are my favorite because I literally love them with all of my heart and soul. So I have Mondays, Tuesdays, night classes. And then Wednesday, I'm a homeschool art teacher in Medina. So that's really cool. So I have like morning classes, and like I've gotten to know all the parents and all the students, and like it's just a tight knit group of people, and I just would not have it any other way. I'm gonna be honest. Like I just love teaching. I just love teaching.
I remember my art teacher, and we recently lost her, and she was really influential in my development, my life, as well as a lot of folks I think that even are probably going to watch this interview as well. And I remember going back, this is a long time ago, but remembering some of those things, right? And some of the things she's like, darker darks and lighter lights. Always go super dark over to light, and just don't give me a gray painting. Go darker darks, lighter lights, and the things that many of us have heard, which is keep it simple. Keep it simple. The KISS method, or don't use a composition. Think about it. Don't always or rarely go to a donut hole where your middle is open, or go to a bullseye where your middle is exactly where things are at. And those were things that teaching ingrained in me, and many years later they still stand out. So when you come across a student and you're like, couple things to remember, are there any things like that where you're like, hey, think about this?
Yes. So I actually, while you were talking, I did think about this. So when I teach my painting classes, some people can come in, and like adult painting classes, people come in and they're like, they're not painters, they have not done anything ever like this. So they come in, they see the painting, and they're like, there is absolutely no way I can do this. And I was like, no, trust me, we got this, it's fine. So when I do it, I take them through easy ways to do it. So like if you're trying to get a lighter color on that blue, take white and blue on the brush and put it right there. It creates depth without you having to do very much, and we'll move on to next step. So it's not overthinking it. Or when they say, I can't do this, I absolutely shut that down. Every single time. If it's my students, if it's anybody, I shut that down. I'm like, no, you absolutely can, I promise. And I actually do have one student, he does get a little frustrated when a drawing does not come out perfect. But the thing is, it's perfectly imperfect. That's all it's ever going to come out to be. That's all that anybody's painting, that's all that anybody's piece of artwork is ever going to come out to be. Yours is not going to look like theirs. Theirs is not going to look like yours. Yours is not going to look like mine. And I like to teach that because I feel like that's very important. We set ourselves up to this impossible standard of perfection. And painting is where we find that it is imperfect at all points, at all times. And that is something that I heavily teach. And I heavily make sure that they believe in their abilities. And I heavily make sure that they try stuff that they've never done before. Because we don't know until we know. That's exactly what it is. We don't know until we know.
You said that kids were, might be your favorite age group. And I think there's something magical about kids, because there's a point where, I think maybe traditional education, certainly when I was growing up, they kind of reined in the kids. Like, I'm not quite sure that that's, trees can be pink. And you're like, wait a minute, why not? I mean, because if that's a vision, and then let's let that go. But I mean, we were trained, in a box. We're trained to get in a box. And I think that often, in order to, so it's kind of like we box in all these wonderful capabilities that kids have. And then at some point, you get an adult, or a young adult, or an older adult, or a senior who comes to your class, I gotta tear that box apart.
That's exactly what it is. We have to kick it open.
Because and there are no rules, and we're here to encourage you. And if you're uncertain, we're going to guide you.
That's
through the
exactly
process.
what it is, guiding, and realizing that, hey, you don't have to do this anymore. Or when people ask me, oh, can I add this to my painting? I say, this is your painting. You can add anything you want to it. I'm just the guide. I'm just the reference. I'm here to help. I'm here to help if you need it. And I always start every single sip and paint by saying, you guys did not mess up your painting. I can help you fix it. Do not freak out. Because we feel that this inconvenience of, oh my God, I can't believe I just did this. No, it's easily fixable. We got this. Whatever you want to add onto there, add it. But then there comes a point where if you are specifically, so if I'm specifically trying to teach my students something like that we're doing, or them copying a reference image, then that's when I kind of say, okay guys, make sure to stay at least close to the reference image when we're specifically doing that.
Right.
But when they learn it and they do it on their own, that's when I'm like, okay, cool, do whatever you need to do whatever you want to do. If you want a tree right here, put a tree right here. If you want a smiley face on your son, put a smiley face on your son. You know, like, I'm here to show, I'm not here to box.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. We're here to tear down that paradigm. And the important part, right, is that in the process of teaching, right, especially if you're teaching life drawing or foreshortening, you're like, well, we have to learn those skills.
Yes.
But the fact that that you can break down that box and go, now that you have that, now you can create. Do you have any? I think it's exciting, right? Because you're encouraging folks of all ages, right, to go out and try something new. It's probably bumping a lot of people out of a comfort zone. I can't do it.
That's exactly what I
do
do. Like,
right.
It's my goal is to bump people out of their comfort zone, because the comfort zone is something that we stay in that is lovely and it has lasted us so very long, but it's also where we end up staying. And if we do not come out of our comfort zone, we will never learn, and we will never grow, and we will never be able to become the best version of us that we can be. So when my students do not want to step out of their comfort zone because they've only known this, I'm like, no, just give it a try. If you don't like it, you don't like it. That's okay.
Yeah.
But we're not going to put ourselves in this box of you saying you can't do it when you have never tried.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. It's bumping everybody out of their comfort zone because we have to.
Yeah, and we don't have to go into detail much, but I'm gonna just ask a question and kind of get a response on comfort zone, because in the Tuesday at 7 I kind of dropped a picture of one of your last classes, right?
Yes.
And I would imagine you had a bunch of folks that were like, I'm not sure I want to put paint on my hand or paint on my leg, and then stamp a canvas, and that probably was not only out of your comfort zone, I'm not out of yours, but the attendees were probably, I'm not quite sure I can do this. And then they did, and it probably opened up a door
It was
that
empowering.
they had no idea that needed open.
That's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
It was literally, and so I won't get too much into it,
Right.
but this was a different setting than I would usually do. And we did end up painting the women's bodies. And like, we were all sitting there, so they were sitting there and everybody was kind of in their underwear because, we had to paint them.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had the women, so like there was a piece of paper on the ground. We had 2 women that would help them lower them down onto the piece of paper. And then I had to hold the paper and they had to help them up. It was a whole teamwork. Like, the entire time was literally a bunch of empowered women helping each other. Like, it was such a beautiful event, and to see the people that they didn't care who saw, they didn't care who knew. They were like, dude, this is me, this is my body, this is something that I am super, super proud that I did, and this is something that they were a little like inside at first, you know what I mean? Like, you're gonna show up to an event like that, you're obviously gonna feel like, okay, what do we do next? Like, how are we doing this? But then we were all like, okay, well, let's get started, ladies. We're all here to empower ourselves. Let's do it. And I actually love that because I wasn't even sure if I was going to post that or not. Only for the reason that I have a few of my students on my Facebook. So I didn't, you know what I mean? Like, it's a cross between a teacher and, an artist. But I did end up posting it, and I was like, okay. And I had so many people reach out to me. They were like, oh my God, I would love to have done that. I would love to do this. I actually got a private party from it. So like, somebody was like, hey, like, if I got a bunch of group of ladies, like, I'm like, yes, like, absolutely.
Yeah.
So it was like a whole nother side that I have never experienced, and I was very, very thankful to have experienced it.
Yeah.
And it was something that I was definitely, like, I had no clue how we were going to do it. My best friend came over, and we were trying. I had bought tempera paint because it'd be easier to wash off, and we were trying, and it wouldn't work, and I was like, okay, so what do we do now? And it was like a whole test of a few runs, but it was wonderful. It was great.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
empowering.
And I think that, I know that there's some folks who go, does the, when you sit down with somebody and you kind of guide them, like what does that mean? Is guiding the right thing, or is guiding kind of creating a box? And I think, right, we have to encourage people over the starting line, and over the starting line might be, here's your colors, right? Because if you give them
Everything.
wide open, they're like,
I don't know what to do.
I don't know what to do, right?
Yeah.
So you guide them with some color, you guide them maybe with some ideas, and they cross the starting line, and I imagine that you've encouraged a lot of folks, kids, adults, seniors, across the starting line, and then at some point in the future, like they came back to you, well, you want to see what I'm doing now?
Yes.
Like so you kind of encourage them over the starting line, and then all of a sudden they're like, they take off.
That's
and
exactly what
how
it
did that
is.
happen?
That's all we're here for, is to light that spark.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Is literally like, if you like painting and you realize this is something you really enjoy. My one friend, she came to one of my sip and paints, and now she is painting every single week. She has a new painting every single week, and they're only getting better. And then I had another one that came to one of my sip and paints that literally, she talked to the business owner, and now she is hosting her own wood burning classes, because all you need is that spark. That's it. And it's like, it's, I mean, I won't say that everybody's spark is not ignited, because it is ignited, but we are all programmed in a box to, our spark is in this box. So when you have somebody who shows you a little bit like, you could do this, it's like, okay, well now I kind of feel this. Like, this is something that I could do, and you see somebody doing it and actively doing it, and then realizing that you in fact love that, is where that, it's my favorite. It's my favorite. And I have a student that, she's the most talented drawing person I've ever known. And I'll get pictures from her, just her new work, how she's doing, her model sending it, and I'm like, are you serious? Are you serious? Like, it's just impressive. It's very impressive.
And I know sometimes you probably sit down with folks, right? Let's even say some kids, right? And you're painting, and all of a sudden, you've got folks. Maybe they have their canvases turned towards them, so they're not only, they're just working.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, probably as a teacher, you kind of walk around and you see that canvas, and you're like this is crazy talent, And you're like, man, look at those feathers on that bird, or look at, those are probably the reason why you're like, of all those things, the teaching.
That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. It's literally looking and going, oh my God, there is no way that you just did that. Like, I'm one to, so I obviously have quite a bit of energy. So when I am in a class and I am walking around the class of people with a bunch of different paintings, I will point out obviously everything that I like about their painting specifically. Like, they're all different. And I had a student actually the other day, so this was my younger student. I had a student the other day, and she did what, like, I could not believe it. When I had like, it was a kind of an easier painting for the kids specifically, and she nailed it. She put white exactly literally in the bird's feathers, and I was like, dude, are you serious?
Yeah.
Are you serious? Like, and you just did this? Like, I asked her, I was like, do you like painting? And she's like, well, yeah. And I was like, do you paint at home? And she's like, well, I don't have any paint. And I'm like, that's we're gonna change that. We're gonna change that, because that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
Question.
Yeah.
Is it's always an interesting one, and I have a very specific opinion about it. And but my opinion is not important today. It's what we want to know is what your opinion is, and that is, can anybody be an artist or a creative?
Okay, so that is a really, really good question. So I do think that everybody has their specific talents and their specific creativity, okay? But I do know that not everybody is artistically inclined in the way of painting, drawing, and just things like that. Because I personally think anybody can paint anything, especially if you have the right guidance, because that has just been, like, proven. But I also know a few people who, they are not as artistically inclined, but they are very, very creative in other aspects of their life. So I guess it's what you define as creativity, because everybody is creative, but it's where their creativity shines the most. That's what I would say.
Yeah. What do you guys think? I'm interested. Well, what do you think, Beth? You're behind the camera. You've been quiet, and keep an eye on the comments. Does everybody have their own creative swim lane?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. And that they don't necessarily know it, but if it's something that they enjoy and it's producing something, then they may not necessarily focus on it being creative.
Mm-hmm.
But it's something that they excel at and enjoy and maybe luck out and are able to make money at it. But
That's exactly what it is. It's being able to just following your heart and then making money off of what makes you happy.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. It's not even about it. It's just about being happy about it.
Yeah, and then and so if you're one of those folks out there, you're like, I know, I'm not a painter, and then we want to encourage you to write or sing or build a prop or act or do many of those things as well. Now,
Gardening.
so I'm gonna what's that?
gardening,
Gardening
Interior
is such
decorating.
a creative one. So creative.
photo albums,
Baking,
scrapbooking,
baking, scrapbooking, yes.
Baking, Triskel,
Yes.
art of charcuterie, right?
alphabetizing the pantry. Oh wait, no.
I would consider that creative.
Yeah.
I tell him that.
I
I'm not allowed to have a label maker because some people don't consider that to be creative.
That would definitely be my mom. My mom is somebody, so she's not really much of a painter. She's not much of a drawer. But when she literally baked a cake for my sister, and she never baked a cake in her life. It was this huge hippo cake. It was literally the best thing I've ever seen. And she's like, "No, like I'm not too creative." I'm like, "Are you still? What are you talking about?" Like that's exactly what it is. People don't understand where their creativity shines until somebody looks at them and says, "You can just do this. You can just you can just do this." So I would think everybody can be an artist, but we're all artists in different ways. That's what I would think.
Yeah.
That's my answer to that question.
I like that. And staring at us is our doodle, and we have. What's kind of funny is I like those groomers that do the doodle.
Yes!
The poodles, and they look like lions, and they like giraffes, and they paint dogs, and so we're I love the fact when people sometimes stretch a traditional definition of creativity, like big dogs.
That's exactly. It's so.
I'm gonna
haircut, hairstylist.
Yep.
They style your hair. They dye your hair. Nail stylist. They literally paint something on a little canvas. There is just so many ways and so many artistic forms that sewing, crocheting, it's robotics.
Yeah.
Literally, robotics is
From ground up,
creativity
you're
all
creating,
itself.
right? Engineering it, you're building it, you're perfecting it,
Yep.
Those great. And we have some folks that are really in robotics too, so we always love to see what they're creating. Robotics team.
Well, that's perfect.
Thinking about the Cook kids right here, right offhand, right?
I think they're the only ones we know in robotics, aren't they?
They're not.
On their team? No? Who else
They're
does
not. I'm
robotics?
trying to think of, and then I'll come across. I mean,
We know too many people. It's hard for me to keep track.
That's a good problem to have. That's a really good problem to have.
Yeah.
People are our blessings.
So I want to go in a couple more directions because it kind of feels like we're rounding third with the interview, and so we know they're on different platforms, and we're going to go ahead and maybe connect those. And so if people are like, I want to follow Taylor's Instagram, or I'm going to connect on your website, or perhaps know where your next
Where my next
classes
events
are.
are. Yeah. My website does have my classes. It has everything that I do right on there. You can look up my portfolio, reviews, any of that. It is literally taylorbash.com.
Spelled how?
TaylorBash.com. And it has all of my events on there, literally with the links right then and there. You can buy a ticket, and you can always contact me. There's a direct message button through the website, so it's if you need anything, it's there. You can join my Tay's encouragements off of that, the daily encouragement text message. So literally, you can sign up right there. I did start selling merchandise, so you can buy my merchandise on my website now too. That's all set up through there. Anything that you need to know about me is going to be found on my website or my Facebook page. My Facebook is where I'm most active. So, right there.
And if you weren't with us at the very beginning of the interview, or you just kind of, were watching a recorded version and you kind of been skipping around a little bit, we're going to encourage you to share. And if you share, your name will be put. So we're going to give one out on your live. We're going to give one out on Tuesday at 7. But if you share this video, we're going to draw a winner next Tuesday. at our next Tuesday's interview, and if your name is drawn, you can get a piece of art. Are we gonna?
Piece of
You wanna grab that?
Valentine's Day art. I would love to.
Yeah.
I would love to. Okay, so we'll do this one. We'll do this one first. Okay, so they can't see. Okay, so we were going to raffle this off today during the live. What I was going to do, what I was thinking of doing is thinking of a number, and whoever guesses it, they would absolutely get it. Or we can do the shares just as he's doing, because that's what he consistently does, and you find that works.
Yeah.
So we could do that either way, but I am raffling this off. So if there is something that you really, really enjoy, or know somebody who likes little teddy bears, or just loves Valentine's Day in the spirit of Valentine's Day, we could absolutely do that. I don't know how many people are watching, so I don't exactly know how to raffle it off specifically. But I could also post it and raffle it off that way too, for everybody who did watch the live, or anybody who shared the live. I can actually do that because I can see who shared it.
You can see who shared it. Then you can just draw. You can just draw a name on Valentine's Day.
Let's do that. That would be great. So whoever is watching the live right now, if you guys end up sharing it, I will end up putting your name on a wheel, and then we'll spin it, and then I will contact you with this, because you would be the winner. So if you guys could get those shares up, that would be absolutely great. Just share it with anybody who you would think would like this too. This is honestly a piece that I had taught last year for Valentine's Day. So I taught a few classes that learned how to actually paint the bear, and then paint the heart, and then the trees. And it was beautiful. It was beautiful. The amount of people, I had somebody who literally did she did trees in the distance in the background. She nailed it. You can tell when an artist who expresses themselves all of the time comes to one of my classes, because they just know what to do, how to do it, where they want it. It's beautiful. So I will end up then on Valentine's Day, I will end up announcing the winner for this, and I will end up counting up all the shares and then putting your name, and we'll go from there. So I'll put this right here in case you guys want to keep looking at it, because it's so cute.
And then sharing, if you're sharing on the Tuesday at 7 page, we're going to draw a winner next Tuesday, and I'll tell you what, there's going to be 4 winners. Four winners. One winner from our interview tonight, and then a couple from our other
So
creative
awesome.
channels. So we're just kind of bringing folks together, encouraging them along the way.
Engaging.
Yeah. You said that you had a few other things going on that wasn't traditional.
Yes.
So tell us about that as we're kind of wrapping up here, because it's when you were like, oh yeah, I've got these things going on too. I felt your energy.
I am honestly super excited. I'm super excited for anything that I usually have going on in general, but I did end up with another artist of mine posting and publishing an Amazon affirmation book. So it's literally an affirmation book that literally is 99. It's actually called Tay Tay's Affirmame's 99 Paths to a Positive Life, and we ended up posting it and publishing it. That was just so exciting, and I had so many people who were they were like, oh my god, I love it, it was so good. I do have a mural coming up, so I have a pretty big mural. My artist mentor, I do want to give her a shout out, because I would not be where I am today without her. When I first started getting into art, I had reached out to Cam Creates Art Studio. I don't know if you've heard of her, but she's wonderful.
I've seen her stuff.
She's great.
Yeah.
She's great. So she has encouraged me, she has guided me, she has led me, she has brought me into the artist community in a way that I would have never guessed, and I'm very, very thankful for her. So she ended up getting me in on my first mural, which was in Lorraine. It was on the street. It was literally a 36 foot by 36 foot of children's artwork. It was just beautiful. And then I had a glow-in-the-dark mural for another business last year that I had to hire her onto. So we did that together. Yeah. So this mural that she has coming up, it's huge, and it's actually crazy because we're going to be doing it in big canvas panels so the business can move it if they ever move. So it's not just on the wall. It's literally going to be in sections on different canvases. It's the coolest thing ever. So that we have coming up. I'm super stoked about that. I'm not going to say much about it because this is her mural. Very, very exciting. So I'll wait to kind of say more about it. But She is honestly wonderful, so I definitely wanted to make sure that I mentioned her in the artist community because I have never found such a home than in the artist community and in access to arts and, you know, the Lodi Family Center and just everything that I could possibly have has been because of the people in my life, and I'm very, very blessed for that. And she is one of the people that I am one of the most blessed for that I have ever. But I have a lot of stuff like that coming up. I'm honestly the thing I am most excited about right now is my merchandise. Because when I had brought it up, I had made a logo, because I have this mantra. It's, I'm so lucky everything works out for me. It's my consistent, it is my affirmation, my mantra, it is what I live by. So when I say this, and everybody in my family started saying it, and like, when you say this, you start realizing how lucky you are. You start realizing the ways that everything starts to work out because it's a mindset shift. Yeah. So I ended up making a logo that literally says that. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to actually put this on shirts. And I've had quite a few orders. I use the Medina County District Library. I use the Heat Press. Like, I love making these clothing. Okay, I love it. So then I have another one that I just came out that it's too blessed to be stressed. So it's like literally in like a heart and it's like a little logo. And I had a few people get that one. So I'm just so excited for the new, like I just love making clothes. Like it's not something that I've ever really done. So like this is a new step into my business. And then I would say I'm most excited for building my content and my creation. Because I'm planning on being a big influencer. Like, that's my goal. That's my plan, is to influence as many people as I possibly can. So this year is focused on my content and building my following. So I would say that is something I am so, so, so excited about. And then obviously just all of my classes in general. I love my classes. I love that very, very much. I have a Mother's Day Sip and Paint brunch coming up in May. So like I love the venue. They're wonderful, and like we literally pair like, you know, brunch over here, and then right after you guys are done with brunch, it's the painting class. So it's like it's the coolest thing ever. I would say those are pretty exciting for me right now. Getting my website the best it could possibly be. I've been focusing more on that too because, you know, it's only growing, and I just have to grow with it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I would say those are pretty exciting, and then just doing different events that I wouldn't have normally thought, like glow in the dark events. I've been starting glow in the dark events, so literally painting with glow in the dark paint and painting a glow in the dark painting. That has been amazing. I have loved that, and it's so much fun. So I would say that those are really, really great. I'm just excited for what's going to come next because I don't know.
Leave us with an affirmation. You know, in other words, just say this is what I would recommend. Okay. That's somebody. You know.
You got it. First off, I'm so lucky everything works out for me. I didn't say it works out in the way you want. I'm so lucky everything works out for me. Yeah. So I will leave you with that, but I will also leave you with you are your own worst critic. So please. Just give yourself the space and the grace that you give to others. Because it is really, really difficult sometimes when we are our own worst critic and we are consistently, don't be mean to yourself, you don't deserve it. That's what I'm going to leave it with. Don't be mean to yourself, you don't deserve it. Because I see a lot of people who are very, very mean to themselves and they don't deserve it. And if you just start talking nicely, being nice, the way you treat yourself is the way you treat others. You start being nicer to yourself, you start being nicer to others. And then they start being nicer to you. You know, what you put out is what you get back. Law of attraction.
Well, thank you, Taylor, for sharing your story. Thank you guys for your share. Share away. I know that you're going to draw a name on Valentine's Day for your live. We're going to draw a name for Tuesday 7 next Tuesday.
Perfect.
And I think that's the perfect way to leave us. Leave yourself some grace and some space. Mm-hmm. You've heard it from Taylor. Thank you for that.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys so very much. I absolutely love being here. Thank you so very much. Seriously, it was wonderful. And all your interviews before were just amazing. And I just love how you just kind of roll with it. Like you're just a people person. You're here to help, and you're here to spread, and you're here to network. And I respect that.
We appreciate you guys too.
Yeah. Well, yeah, of course. Bye, guys.
See ya.